Someone wronged you, maybe years ago, maybe yesterday, and you've rehearsed their cruelty so many times it's become architecture, built into the walls of your mind. Here's the brutal truth. You are not protecting yourself by holding that wound. You are feeding it. By the end of this, I'll reveal the precise mental technique the Stoics called the most radical act of self-governance a human being can perform.
We'll cover three things. First, why the modern understanding of forgiveness is psychologically broken and keeps you enslaved. Second, what Stoic philosophy actually teaches about memory, judgment, and the architecture of suffering. Third, how to forgive without erasing what happened, without becoming naive. But the real revelation comes at the end. A single Stoic discipline that restructures how injury lives inside you. The world tells you forgiveness means releasing anger, moving on, perhaps reconciling. Self-help culture packages it as emotional hygiene, a cleansing ritual that restores your inner peace. But millions who've tried this discover a devastating paradox. The harder they try to release the memory, the more ferociously it returns. The wound doesn't dissolve. It goes underground, resurfaces as insomnia, as cynicism, as a low, relentless ache that no affirmation can silence. The problem runs deeper than technique. Western culture conflates forgiveness with exoneration, as though forgiving means declaring the offense acceptable, or that the person who harmed you is now trustworthy. So the psyche resists. Something ancient and protective inside you says, if I forgive, I endorse. If I forget, I disarm myself. And so the anger persists, not out of weakness, but out of a misdirected instinct for self-preservation that no one has ever properly corrected.
But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The Stoics never asked you to forgive in the modern sense at all. Marcus Aurelius, writing alone in his military tent in 170 AD along the Danube frontier, did not counsel emotional release. He counseled something far more rigorous, a complete reclassification of the event itself. Not a feeling, not a ceremony, a philosophical operation performed on the faculty he called the hegemonikon, the ruling intelligence of the soul. The Stoics built their entire psychology on one structural insight. It is never the event that causes suffering. It is the judgment you attach to the event. Epictetus, who was enslaved and had his leg deliberately broken by his owner Epaphroditus, did not teach suppression. He taught the dichotomy of control. What happened to your body belongs to the category of externals, adiaphora, things indifferent to virtue. What you do with that, inside your hegemonikon, that is yours entirely and absolutely. Seneca sharpened this in his letters to Lucilius, written around 65 AD in Rome. He wrote, "Nusquam est, qui ubique est." He who is everywhere is nowhere. He meant the mind that inhabits every remembered grievance lives in exile from the present. Every hour spent prosecuting the past in the court of your own skull is an hour stolen from the only territory you actually govern. And if this is stirring something in you, subscribe. What comes next reshapes the entire framework. This is where Stoic philosophy diverges absolutely from any cheap advice about letting go. The Stoics do not ask you to forget. Prosoche, vigilant attention, requires that you remember accurately. Musonius Rufus, teaching in Rome in the 1st century AD,
argued that wisdom demands we examine injury with clear eyes. Who did it? Why they were capable of it? What defect in their own rational faculty, their own logos, permitted such an action? Memory for the Stoic is forensic, not sentimental.
Wait. What comes next is what few truly understand. The Stoic operation on forgiveness has nothing to do with the person who harmed you. Nothing. It is entirely an interior restructuring, what Marcus Aurelius called working within the hegemonicon, to reclassify the event from injustice done to me to evidence of another's rational failure. You are not pardoning them. You are withdrawing their power to occupy your ruling faculty rent-free. That distinction is everything. So how do you practice this? Tomorrow morning, before the day colonizes your attention, perform what I call the Stoic audit of injury. Write the name of who harmed you. Then write 3 separate lines. What they did, factual only, stripped of emotional charge. What internal defect in their character made this possible? Why their action belongs to the category of externals, adiaphora, and therefore cannot diminish your arete, your virtue. This is prosoche made operational. Repeat for 7 consecutive mornings. The second practice is amor fati, the love of fate, a concept Marcus Aurelius wove through his meditations. Not passive acceptance, an active philosophical stance. This event happened. It is now part of the logos, the rational structure of the cosmos, and therefore it is part of my material. The sculptor does not hate the resistant marble. He works it. Your injury is your marble. Amor fati does not erase the wound. It converts it from a prison into a workshop. The third practice is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity, applied not to future harm, but to past harm already received. Seneca advised his student Lucilius to revisit difficult events deliberately, in writing, under calm conditions, rather than allowing them to surface ambush-style in vulnerable moments. When you schedule the encounter with a painful memory on your own terms, you reclaim the hegemonicon's sovereignty over it. The memory does not own you. You interrogate it, like a Roman magistrate examining evidence. Now the historical case. The year is 177 AD. Marcus Aurelius is emperor of Rome. His most trusted general, Avidius Cassius, has declared himself emperor while Marcus was reportedly dying in the east. Cassius ruled Syria for 3 months before being assassinated by his own centurion. When Marcus received Cassius's severed head, a gesture of loyalty from the army, he reportedly refused to look at it and ordered it buried with dignity. This was not weakness. This was the hegemonicon in full command. Marcus then wrote in his Meditations, probably that same year, these exact words: "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Not forgiveness in the modern sentimental sense, a declaration of philosophical superiority. He remembered what Cassius had done. He recorded it. He did not pretend it was acceptable. But he refused to allow Cassius's treason to corrupt his own rational soul. He converted betrayal into evidence for why virtue, arete, is the only true possession. The Stoic secret is this: you forgive not for the other person, and not to erase what happened, but because the hegemonicon, your ruling faculty, cannot simultaneously pursue virtue and prosecute grievance. These two activities compete for the same interior space.
Every moment your mind relitigates the injury, it is not becoming wiser, braver, or more excellent. Apatheia, freedom from destructive passion, is not coldness. It is the clearing of cognitive space so that arete can actually function.
Here is the technique Marcus Aurelius used. Each night he reviewed the day's disturbances in his journal, not to ruminate, but to reclassify. He asked 3 questions. Was this within my control? Did I respond with virtue? What judgment must I correct tomorrow? This is memento mori applied to the soul's ledger. Remember that time passes, that your hegemonicon is finite and precious. If this reflection has moved you, subscribe. Tomorrow we examine what Epictetus taught about rebuilding identity after total loss. Does your ruling faculty belong to you?